going? This is Nanice, and this is your astrology reading for the full moon in Pisces, which is happening on Tuesday, September the 21st at 1:54 a.m. Cairo, Egypt time. I'm going to start off by talking about the collective energy for this full moon, and then I'm going to go through individual zodiac sign to talk about what this full moon could illuminate for you. So this full moon is happening in the sign of Pisces. And a full moon is a time of fruition. Look back at your life around 2 weeks ago, as well as 6 months ago, because whatever a seed that you planted during this time has come to bear its fruit. So a full moon is also a time of an ending or a time of a letting go. Whatever that's been building has made itself manifest at this time. This full moon in Pisces is co-present Neptune, and it is happening very close to the end degrees of Pisces, the end degrees of the whole zodiac. So this also magnifies this theme of a kind of letting go or an ending of an old phase and the beginning of a new. We're going to be entering the fall season just a few days after this full moon. It's going to be the autumn equinox. And the sun is going to move into the sign of Libra, into the sign of relationships and the scales of justice. So what this all tells me is that this full moon is going to be a highly intuitive, highly sensitive, and perhaps even a vulnerable time for us. This could be a time when we are seeking a higher spiritual connection of some sort, or a higher connection, and we may be feeling a dissolving of boundaries between worlds. If you are already kind of sensitive to the energies, this may be magnified around this time, and you may be feeling a little bit more vulnerable. So if you need to protect yourself, I really recommend you to do that, because the fall season, around when the sun starts to go into past the equinox point, the veil between the worlds starts to thin out, and we may be more open to things that we don't really want to open ourselves up to. So watch out for that. And Venus, the planet of love, beauty, arts, money, children, women, all the pleasant things and all the sweet things in life, is going to oppose Uranus around this time. This tells me that we're going to have some sort of surprising or shocking or a sudden kind of watershed moment, like a breakthrough moment, to do with Venus topics, to do with love, relationships, beauty. And once again, this is highlighted with the sun going into Libra. So I have a feeling there's going to be massive changes in terms of relationships. And this could be especially so if you have important angles or important planets in the signs of Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo. So if you have your sun there, or if you have your ascendant there, or your descendant there in one of those 4 signs, this could be magnified extra. So it's a time to, I believe it's a great time to pursue your spiritual interests, because in the shadow sense, Neptune can be symbolic of illusions, deceit, addictions, or wanting to escape this reality. But a more productive, more constructive way that Neptune can manifest is through this yearning of a higher connection and through spirituality. So I would say lean into that, so that you don't get kind of washed away, swept away into the more shadow aspects of Neptune. So lean into your spiritual practice, really zone in on that. And I believe it's going to be a beautiful full moon if you take that approach. So that's all I have for the collective. I'm going to go through each zodiac sign. I recommend that your first choice is to check your ascendant. If you don't know your rising sign, if you don't know your ascendant, I recommend that you use your sun sign if you were born during the daytime, or your moon sign if you were born during the nighttime. So I'm going to begin with Aries. For Aries, this full moon is happening in your 12th house of hidden enemies, secrets, self-sabotage, addictions, hospitals, monasteries, retreats, prisons, isolation, ego loss, and large animals, larger than a goat. So there could be some sort of illumination or a highlighting of these topics in your life at this time of the full moon. For Taurus, this full moon is happening in your 11th house of friends, social groups and allies, benefactors, and wishes for the future. So there's going to be a highlighting of these topics at the time of this full moon for you. For Gemini, this is happening in your 10th house of career, public reputations, what you are known for in the public, and how you spend your days and your time in general. If you don't have a career, it could just be how you spend your day. So if you're a stay-at-home parent or you're a caretaker, it has to do with these things. So there's going to be some sort of culmination having to do with these topics at the time of this full moon. For Cancers, this full moon is happening in your 9th house of God, foreign countries, higher education, spirituality, mysticism, astrology, law, politics, religion, long distance journeys, and foreign people and things in general. So there's going to be a highlighting and culmination of these topics at the time of this full moon. For Leos, this full moon is happening in your 8th house of death, taxes, loans, joint income, inheritance, karmic debts. So a sense of owing something to someone or someone owing something to you. This doesn't have to be a material thing necessarily. It could be it could be something not material. It could be a sense of owing something, like you need to do something for someone or someone needs to do something for you. So there's going to be a highlighting of these topics during the time of this full moon. For Virgos, this full moon is happening in your 7th house of partnerships, spouse, one-on-one relationships, romantic relationships, business partnerships, and clients. So there's going to be a highlighting and a culmination having to do with these topics. For Libras, this full moon is happening in your 6th house of daily routines, sickness, toil, labor, workers, employees, and pets. So there's going to be a highlighting of these topics at this time of the full moon for you. For Scorpio, this full moon is happening in your 5th house of good fortune, also known as the joy of Venus. So with Venus opposing Uranus at this time in your 5th house, I really feel it's going to magnify the topic of a culmination or a highlighting of the topics of children, pregnancy, creativity, arts, recreation, hobbies, and pleasure, but perhaps in an unusual and unexpected way. For Sagittarius, this full moon is happening in your 4th house of foundations, home, family, father, parents, ancestry, land, property, hidden things under the earth, secrets, mysteries, the grave, and hidden things in general, or like agriculture, things that come from the earth itself. So there's going to be a highlighting of these topics at the time of this full moon for you. For Capricorn, this full moon is happening in your 3rd house of siblings, extended family, neighborhoods or neighbor, folk culture, journalistic activities such as teaching, writing, communicating, reading, the life of the mind, the everyday commute, and short distance trips. These topics will be highlighted for you at the time of this full moon. For Aquarius, this full moon is happening in your 2nd house of personal possessions, money, personal resources, and assets, including your time and skill set. So there's going to be a highlighting of these topics at the time of this full moon for you, and a culmination to do with these things as well. And for Pisces, this full moon is happening in your first house of body, health, vitality, character, spirit, and psychology. So this full moon is going to be highly personal for you, and there's going to be a culmination or a realization having to do with these very personal topics that perhaps started out 2 months ago and also look back to 6 months ago, and it has come to a point of illumination at this time. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you'd like to book a reading with me, please email me. And if you find value in these videos, please consider donating to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you all a very blessed full moon in Pisces, and I'll be speaking to you soon. Bye.